Hi guys, how are you? Every time here we talk about different ways and the strategies one person can use to go to the countries they like to go for different purposes. Some people want to go to live permanently in other countries, like here in the United States. Some they want to go to Canada. Some want to go to Australia, New Zealand, or any European country. Some want to go to Asia. So it's up to you which country you want to go. But one thing which I've been consistently explaining to people, there are different ways, but there are few ways, they are my preferences. And I'm going to give you these ways which are my preferences and why these ways or this way I'm going to explain to you will be very, very good for you than the other ways. And I'll give the example of here, the United States, for instance, or I can show just some of the example in Canada. So, for instance, if you want to come to the United States here, there are different ways people can go or come here through maybe going for vacation, tourism, or you can say I'm going for graduation, just to attend a funeral, or just coming for business. Some people, they come here as students, some they come as exchange scholars, some come to do internship, and a few they can come directly as what we call immigrant, meaning they come with immigrant visa, that from day one they come here as a permanent resident. Either you have won the DV lottery or you have a family member who is a US citizen, like is your parent, for instance, or is your spouse, and is processing the paperwork for you to come here and get green card directly. And there are some, they come here for work, so they come under what we call H1 visa. So there are different ways. So with exception of those few people who are coming direct to America under immigrant visa, they come here with a green card directly. Like either your spouse, your parents, or somebody is sponsoring you to come here with a green card from day one, with exception of that type of category. The most of the way which I prefer, and I insist to many people, but this is for those people who have the option or they have qualifications, they can meet these requirements of education to get scholarships. So I prefer people to come through education mostly, and I will explain why in this particular video. Welcome everyone, this is Ernest Boniface Makulilo EBM, and I welcome you to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/EBM Scholars. In case you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so right now, and let's get into the discussion of today. As I mentioned, I give the disclaimer of this particular requirement that if you have option, when I say you have option, meaning, for instance, right now you have a degree, you meet the requirements, you have a good degree, you have good results, and your dream is to go to live in one country on a permanent base. So if that is your dream, to go to live in one country on the permanent base, I usually advise people to use education means than, okay, let me go to travel and go for volunteering, and or let me go there under what we call just a tourist visa. I can just go there and just hang around. After hanging around, then I will just get a job, something like that. So there are things you have to understand. Whenever you get any type of visa, each visa has requirements. Each visa has specific restrictions. So if you come here, let's say as a tourist, coming here through visitor visa, come here, or just attending graduation or funeral, something like that. Those type of visas, you are not allowed to work. And this is not just in America. I believe it's almost all countries around the world. You are not allowed to go to any country to work if you are going as a tourist. I've been visiting so many countries around the world, and each country I go, as long as it goes a visitor or tourist, when they put the visa, it is written on the visa, this visa type is restricted. You are not allowed to work if you have that visa. So for that case, if you come here under tourist visa, you are not allowed to work. So that you have to know. So don't think that, oh, if I go to America or I go to Britain, I go to this particular country, just invite me. When I come there, after 1 week, I will start working. No, you will not be able to work. Why will you not be able to work? Because your visa type will restrict you from working. And the most important you have to understand on that particular restriction of working is, in America, in order to work, you must have a work permit. Are you allowed to work? You need to have a social security number. And the social security is a number which is going to put your information. And in that information, it will say either you are allowed to work or not allowed to work. So for instance, if you are a student, it will say working authorization under DHS. And it has to be approved by Department of Homeland Security. That means there is a restriction for number of hours and where to work. But if you come as like if you are a green card holder, you are a citizen, or you have, so it will say just a number. That means you are allowed to work to any employer. How many hours, it doesn't matter, it's up to you. But if you come as a tourist, you don't even have a social security number, and you will not get a social security number. Because if you are a foreigner, in order to get a social security number, you must be having any particular job, and that visa type will allow you to work, and then your kind of like employer is going to give a special letter to get the social security number. So if you come as a tourist, by its design, by the law, you are not allowed to work. So don't come with the mindset, I'll come there and I'll work. Oh, I'll work under the table. Someone, who is going to employ you in a normal way to break the law? Remember, many people fear to hire someone who doesn't meet the requirement, because if that employer, even if you're going to do a babysitting, if you are caught, you are doing that, the person who is employing you, if it's a company, the company can lose a lot of money, and they can even be completely crossed by the government, because that is a very serious offense. In case you do not know, any crime related to the issue of taxation is a very serious crime in the Western world, because the survival of these countries largely depend on the taxation. So if you do any tax issue, you can be in so much trouble. That's why you can find even a superstar in Hollywood, they go to prison for avoiding tax. Is a very big, serious. Yes, there are so many revenue, but don't do a serious crime that hiring someone who is illegal, someone who is not allowed to work, doesn't have the proper authorization to work. So to transfer as international student, to transfer as a tourist to be allowed to work, that will not be able to work properly. So if you want to come as a tourist, come with a tourist with the mindset that maybe I will find a school to transfer to go to be a student in the end, but not to transfer from tourist directly to green card. It's very complicated process. So for me, I usually, as I've been saying, it is better for you if you meet these qualifications of education scholarships or education studies. Will be a better way to come to America, or to go to Europe, or to go to Canada, or going to other countries through education, and have my good reasons why that is a very good option. One of the reasons why this is a very good option is because, even if you come here in America, maybe through green card, for instance, directly you have won the DV lottery. In the end, in order to get a good job, in order to reach American dream, in order to compete with the citizens of the particular country, it will be a very good advice to get education from the same country. Yes, I had a bachelor degree from Tanzania, but after arriving here in America, it will be difficult to compete with Americans while I have a degree from Tanzania. It's not that my degree is not recognizable here, no. It is a degree as a degree, but when you're going to employ someone, the employer look, oh, this guy come from UCLA, this guy come from University of Dar es Salaam. They know UCLA, they do not know the standard of other countries. So it will be better for them. They prefer people who have studied, they have been studying here, or have certifications here within the country. So if you come with education, you get the opportunity, number one, to get education or the more qualifications to compete with if it is Germans within their country of Germans. If you are going to Netherlands, you get education from the first world country and you can compete with them at their own standards. So you'll be able to, oh, where did you study bachelor? This one. Masters, this one. If you have PhD, this one. Certification, this one. From the same country, you will be in a good way to compete at highest level. So that's number one reason. Number two reason is, after arriving in these countries, if you come as a student, let's say you are doing bachelor degree, it's 3 to 4 years, most of the countries. So, or if it's masters, 1 to 2 years. If in the US, mostly are 2 years. Very few programs are 1 year. Then if you go for PhD, it's 3 to 5 years, depending on the country again. So if you go to those countries and you, let's say, you do your 3 years or 2 years, you have the opportunity to learn the culture. You have the opportunity to start volunteering. You get the opportunity to start doing smaller things and creating your professional network. So once you graduate, you can be in a good hands to maneuver, you'll be in a good hands to go to the step B of higher level of success than if you come from day one from another country to here and you want to succeed. It doesn't work that way. But assume you have been a student. Obviously, as a student, you're allowed to work. As a student, you have been to interviews. As a student, you know the culture. You take it slowly, 2 years to come. Then, after that, you are going to more professional jobs. So that is another advantage as a student. Speaking of jobs, that is going to take you advantage number 3. If you come as a tourist, basically, you will not be allowed to work. But if you come as a student, you are allowed to work, though you are allowed to work under specific number of hours, 20 hours per week on campus here in the US. Other countries they can allow to work even off campus, depending on the type of the country and their restrictions or their requirements for international students to work. So you will already be allowed to work. So you can earn a small income, but that work, despite of any small income, it gives you the opportunity for you to be able to have work experience in the countries. Remember, all the work experience you have done in your country, for instance, from Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, Malawi, whatever country you are coming from, Ghana, Liberia, whatever country you are coming from, those type of experience, yes, they are good, but it's very difficult to use those kind of work experience to get a very good job here. They want you to get work experience here. Plus, if they want you a supervisor, they want to call your supervisor to ask some questions. How, with 9, 10, 11 hours, different hours, who will going to call you international call just to ask you a supervisor, you worked whatever your country? Many people will not call international call just to ask your supervisor. And again, most of the supervisors or teachers they taught you in developing countries, most of them don't use the organizational email addresses. Majority of people, they use Gmail, Yahoo, which they don't like here. If you get a recommendation or they want a professional to be written into the letterhead, plus must be from institutional email. Like if it is from TRA, it's supposed to be from the domain, from the organization. So all of those, there are challenges if you have work experience from outside once you want to come here. And one other thing you need to understand is while you are here, let's say you are coming here to do masters or bachelor degree or PhD, once you finish your studies, for instance, in America, you are given 1 to 2 years of work to go and do work, something which we call OPT, optional practical training. There are some things called the CPT, but optional practical training is after finishing your studies, you are given full work permit, just like people who are getting H1, something like that. So that one you are allowed to work to any employer how many hours you want off campus. So you are supposed, like you finish your bachelor, master's or PhD, you can go and work in the professional world and get a work experience. So that is another advantage if you come as a student. So you can go and get a very good job And while you're doing that job, if your employer likes you and likes your performance, employer now can go and file the H1 visa, which is a typical working visa, to extend your time to continue to work in that particular company. But it will be difficult for employer just to hire you from whatever country you are, or you come as a student, you come as a visitor. Oh, by the way, you have a degree in computer science, come here and just get H1. They don't want to take that kind of risk. But if you come as a student, you work as a student, but you finish, you get H1 visa, you get the OPT, you work, doing very, very good job, your employer is going to sponsor you and apply for you to get the H1 visa. So that is something which it can be going well. And after having H1 visa, the employer also can go from there to apply for you or sponsor for you to get a green card through work. So those are some of the ways. So it's a long shot. It's not just a shortcut. I want to jump and go somewhere else. And speaking about education as a way to come and survive and have success here, remember, there is no shortcut to maturity. There is no a quick way to succeed. Most of these ways, you have to take a long time. You have to take a long journey to go, and don't make some unnecessary like shortcuts and you go into legal troubles. So advantage of coming here as a student, you have enough time. So let's say if you come here with a 2-year program, so you have 2 years to sort out your life. You come here for PhD, you have at least 3 to 5 years to learn, sort your life, look all the opportunities. But if you come with a 3-month visa, 6-month visa, that means you are in the deadline. Each day is getting out of you. For instance, today is going tomorrow. That means you will be upset. You can get depressed because the number of days on your visa are getting lower every single day. But if you have 2 years studies for masters plus 1 year for OPT, almost of 3 years, so you don't need to rush on so many things. You have enough time to cool down, to follow all the legal procedures. Remember, I'm looking about what are the legal processes, what are the legal procedures, because doing anything illegally, it can go to ban you to get good things down the road. You might not end up getting good jobs. You might not end up there are so many legal troubles. So for usual, I'm trying to explain what are the proper ways you can come to these countries and ways which can come here and be in a position to do something well or something to succeed. So those are the few things I want to share on this particular video. When you are looking, okay, is there any other ways? So if you are high school, while you are looking for DV lottery, make sure you are going to university, get a good degree. If you are at the university, make sure you are going to get a good GPA, good results. That means you are getting ready for you to go into a long way to succeed. Myself, I want to come to America since I was in primary school, but I knew my only way to come here, this is for me, was through education. So I make sure that I get good grades until I had my bachelor degree with good results, then I came to America. So you can find other ways, but this I'm giving is one of the way which is a assured way and a way which can help you to succeed very, very well. So thank you so much, everyone. Remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel in case you haven't done so. Again, this is EBM Ernest Boniface Makulilo.